Fantasy Draft, the only rake-free daily fantasy site in the business, brings the heat again with a $750,000 guaranteed rake-free contest. The Hooters main event. With its $100,000 first place payout, this is the largest and only rake-free contest running anywhere for NFL Week 3. That's right, Fantasy Draft is the only daily fantasy site where you can play contests with no management fees taken out of the prize pool 100% of the time, not just for limited time promotional contests. Listen, as other fantasy sites continue to raise rake, prize pools are being squeezed, making it harder for players like you and me to win. Whether you call it rake, commission, or management fee, the days of paying 10, 12, or even 16% of your entry fees to fantasy companies are over. No longer will you lose 30% of your bankroll to the house. Sign up at fantasydraft.com today with referral code WBLZ and you'll get a free 7-day trial on your first $1,000 of break-free entry fees. That's fantasydraft.com, referral code WBLZ. Don't miss your shot at millions of dollars in rake-free contests this season. Start playing on Fantasy Draft today. Your bankroll is going to love it.
Ironic Radio proudly presents Daily Fantasy Sports, Fantasy Foreplay, powered by DailyFantasyLines.com.
Rodgers to throw it, has all day, and wide open. He's got it. It's Devontae Adams.
Brady from the gun. Fires. He's got Brown. They get him involved right away.
Takes a swing out and goes deep. Caught inside the 5 and into the end zone. Goes the tight end Mark Andrews for a 27-yard touchdown reception. Devontae Adams is in the backfield. Rodgers the other way for the end zone. Touchdown, Geronimo Allison.
Go on with the move. Second down and 10. Stafford, screen pass. Johnson bobbled, wheeled in. Got a great block on the play by the center right now. He'll take it in. What a play. 36-yard catch and run. Kerryon Johnson with a big block by the center right now.
A lot of time for Prescott. Gonna launch it. Going deep down the field. And it's caught for the touchdown. Devin Smith, the speedster out of Ohio State, the former Jet, with his first catch of the year. It's 51 yards.
Brady. End zone. Caught by Brown. Touchdown. New England. Antonio Brown, the newest Patriot, plunging into the stands in his hometown.
This set of downs from the 39-yard line. Moncrief remains off the field. Here's Rudolph, who got it back from Potter. It is Smith-Schuster who makes the catch. What a catch. Oh, my. So when Rudolph, Potter, back to Rudolph, and then Juju Smith-Schuster for a gain of 46 yards.
I don't believe what I just saw.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to DFS Fantasy Foreplay on this week 3. Week 2, what a disaster week 2 was. All the injuries. We have lots to talk about, lots of conversation, lots of things going on. But first, I want to welcome Mr. Dan McClellan, senior staff writer, Ironic Media, our lead DFS writer, my buddy, DFS pal, and Mr. Webboy over here, our stat guy, and again, good friend of the show. And, well,
yeah,
he likes to get slaughtered, apparently.
This is a bad week for people who had any kind of star caliber.
Somehow, some way, I made money. I don't know how.
So did I. It was pennies on the dollar, but
I made money.
I made money.
Dan, welcome to the program. How you doing?
I did not make money.
And well, we all busted in.
We all busted in
fantasy draft.
I have a bunch of friends in the industry, and we're all like, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is like the only 3 days you talk to each other, and then
right.
You kiss the middle finger and you show it to each other on Sunday, going, I'm taking your money this weekend.
Yep.
And we all said that last Sunday, and then we all talked on Wednesday, and it was like, so, did you keep your money?
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
No.
He's like, I didn't take your money. And he goes, yeah, I know. I gave it to some guy that I don't know. It was just terrible. Everybody just bottomed out. Drew Brees getting hurt.
0.5.
Cam bust.
Oh, I bust, yeah. Not
Who
playing
else
this
went
week.
down? Ben down.
Yeah, I
and
know.
we banked the bank on
We
Ben.
sacked Ben with Juju.
Yeah. Well, Juju did have a great play on that flea flicker. So at least that helped a bit. But 6 rookie or non-starting quarterbacks going this week.
7 now.
And only one of them,
I believe 7 now.
is it 7? Only one of them has some major experience behind them, being Teddy Bridgewater.
As a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Highest paid backup in the league.
Highest paid
And
backup in the
and
league.
it's not even a guarantee he's going to get all the snaps.
No. Well, he's not getting all the snaps.
According to Peyton, we're going to go with 2 quarterbacks,
Yeah.
not 1 quarterback.
And that's also just to screw with Seattle.
Just
a
screw
bit.
with everyone.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hot Mess
Hot
is-
Mess
Hot
Express.
Mess
So
Express,
let's do our little Hot Mess
Okay.
here. I hate to do it to you, bro, but I'm going to lead off this Hot Mess Express very quickly and
because
very
we hired
sharply.
someone on that. Go ahead. Go
Very
ahead.
quickly and very sharply
Go
on this
ahead.
Hot Mess Express. Everybody had exposure to him. I'm pretty sure I had 100% exposure to this cat. And for the first time, I think, ever in his career, we are welcoming one Alvin Kamara to the Hot Mess Express with a whopping 7 points.
Yeah. Is it fair to him, though, because he lost the quarterback and the game script wasn't there for the backup?
Well, the backup, all you got to do is go here, ball. Boy, take ball, run.
Yeah, but they put,
I mean, here, throw short pass, run.
they put up a great defense to be able to handle what was happening, even from the start of that game. But
What
I
about
get
you?
your point.
What about you, Dan? Who you got? Anybody?
I swear we didn't coordinate this ahead of time. The name I was going to throw out there is Pete Carmichael Jr., offensive coordinator for the Saints.
Well, see, now that I would give you over Alvin Kamara. I mean, and I get it. Look, you lose your starting quarterback. The game script is totally written for him, period.
Well, okay, hold on.
And
Can
I
interject
know
here?
this. Go ahead.
Pete Carmichael is nothing but a figurehead. We know Peyton calls all the plays.
Calls that, pretty much calls everything. I mean, I'm not,
So if you
I'm
want to
not
put
saying
anybody
that.
on, you got to put one Mr. 5-year extension,
Sean Payton?
Sean Payton, who
Okay.
got a 5-year
Sure.
extension right before the game.
Okay. I guess I
Look,
could do that.
my lineup for the article was just rocking going into the first morning games, going to the evening, and then I got Kamara. I mean, I'm saying like at 4,000th place. I'm like going, how much am I going to win? The first thing I see is Tyrell Williams gets a touchdown, who's going, and then there's a couple receptions for the Oakland tight end who we have, and then I'm looking at like Kamara, like 2 points. But what's going on? I text Steve. I'm like, I'm at a kid's birthday party right now. There's something wrong with Drew.
He's like, what happened to Breeze? I'm like, all I sent back was jammed his thumb. And that was the
Yes.
end of the conversation right there. There was no further conversation that needed to be had. Jammed his thumb. End of story.
I have 2 people I'd like to add to the Hot Mess Express.
Bring him.
One has been hired for the conductor's car all season long. His job will be to shovel the coal into the engine to keep it running. Mr. Antonio Brown.
He's
Not-
not. I'm sorry.
Not
he's
because of
exempt.
his, not because of his, not because of his on-field performance, but because of his off-field performance.
He's exempt.
Well, he's up there. The other person I want to put on the train this week is Mr. Joe Mixon.
He's been on the train for 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Well, this week's performance was a little worse. Last week he went, 6 attempts for 10 yards, averaging 1.7. His longest was 6. He did catch 2 balls, targeted 3 times for 7 yards. This week, 11 for 17, rushing, 1.5. His longest was 9 yards. Receiving 3 for 5, 10 yards.
What's his average yards per carry over the first 2 weeks? Do you even have that?
Oh, God. Well,
Is it like
yards-
2.3?
No. If he got 1.7 the first week and 1.5 the second week, that's a 1.6.
1.6 yards per carry.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
His receiving yards?
And he goes up against the Bills this week.
Oh, we're going to destroy them. I'm sure we'll get to that. His receiving yards per catch is 3.4.
Oh, joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody else I want to put on the Hot Mess Express got hurt. Like, I can't put Ben on there. He got hurt.
Yeah.
I can't put Drew on there. He got hurt.
True.
I can, however, put the Dallas Cowboys defense on there, though, with their whopping 1 point with 1 sack against the Washington Redskins.
Washington's defense played a great
offensive
game.
line.
The O-line
played a
great game. Great. So did like the Saints game. Bridgewater had all day to throw the ball. They just ran perfect man zone against every receiver out there where he couldn't throw it.
I'm not going to argue that.
Okay, I had somebody who was on the Hot Mess Express at the very last moment, found a way to just barely hop off. And that's Leonard Fournette last night.
Well, Fournette should be on. I mean, garbage time doesn't count. I'm sorry. If it wasn't for that one play, he would have put up 7 points in fantasy.
Well, this is the argument.
And that's not even making his money back.
All right. I need you to pull up somebody for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to do a little bit of math because Dan and I were actually having a conversation about 2.5 hours ago, and I raised this one question.
Okay.
I want you to pull up Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
I want you to take his stats from last weekend alone, and I want you to remove the touchdown and the 75-yard run.
Oh, God, you want me to have fucking place?
And I want to know what his actual, because say that play didn't happen, it was a busted play. We all know it happened. You can't take it away. But if that play did not occur to inflate his totals, what was his actual yards per carry?
Okay, well, he was still at 70. It was 75-yard run.
Yeah.
So he'd still had 70.
Yeah, because he had 109
yards. No, I'm sorry, 69 yards.
On how many carries?
On 20.
Yes. 20 rushing carries.
And he still had 3 receptions for 37 yards. So he was still at like 100 total yards.
100 total yards, so 10 points. And did he have any?
Well, and the receiving is three receiving yards.
Okay, 13 points. Did he have any other touchdowns outside
he had a receiving touchdown.
Okay, so 16 points.
Yeah.
Instead of the 30.
Yeah.
Okay, would you classify that as pedestrian day or an average day or what you would expect out of your running back?
How many points? 17?
Yeah. But still give me the math on 20 carries for 69 yards is what?
Well, look.
10 carries would be 6.9, so we're talking 3.5 yards a carry.
And look, as it gets later and later in the season, it gets colder and colder. Those are good numbers.
But I'm also saying they're going to kill the kid before he even gets there.
Possibly. But that is his role. Here you go. Here's the ball. You either take it out of the backfield or you catch it down the field.
Well, it's a very interesting thing. Like, why I bring this up is like the whole Melvin Gordon thing. His biggest complaint is running backs don't matter. We'll kill you for 3 years, and then we'll move on from you, and you just don't matter anymore.
Yeah, but you get your 15 mil, and you got your injury compensation fund.
But that's only 15 mil compared to the wide receivers that have to run a route, and then they get to go sit down.
Yeah, but they only get like 11 mil.
Not over their career.
Quarterback and defensive tackle, two highest paid positions in football.
And the highest paid wide receiver was just announced in that too, Tyreek Hill.
Where's he?
Kansas City. He's hurt, but he's still making what, $50 million?
I don't know what his contract is, but yeah, maybe.
There's the point. A running back is never going to see that kind of money.
No.
And that's the complaint. That's the point. That's where we're going.
I get it. I agree with it.
All right. Well, since I'm speaking about running backs, why don't we kick off there with running backs? All right. Let's go into this week there. This is the week to pay up, obviously. I mean, I will say that wide receiver costs around no matter where you're playing, whether it's FanDuel, DraftKings, or Fantasy Draft, pricing for wide receivers is heavily compressed. But running backs, if you can manage to get yourself a nice little roster of running backs, why don't we start in Minnesota, Dalvin Cook? I think for me, he's a lock. I'm pretty sure I probably have almost 100% exposure. I think he is cash game and GPP anywhere. I will definitely be slotting Dalvin Cook into all of my lineups.
I don't disagree with that.
I agree, and I think the Raiders' run defense is exaggerated at this point. When you look at they played Denver, they haven't really established a great running game there yet this season. KC had their two running backs get hurt in the game, and they're pass first. Anyways, I think it's too early in the season to go, oh, look, they're the 5th best run defense. And this game is in Minnesota. It's going to be an ungodly amount of touches to Cook. And, you take away that 75-yard, that's fine. But, the last time you have the week before in week 1, he had a really good performance, put up, 29 fantasy points. And you go back to preseason where he touched the ball once, and what did he do? He had a 75-yard touchdown. So he is a player in the dome in this scenario, getting a ton of touches. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks off another huge one.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
I just think he's in a good spot, and I don't really believe this coaching staff has much faith at all in their quarterback, Mr. Cousins. So I think it is going to be more a ground and pound and throw the ball when we absolutely have to. I'm not going to say they're going to go back to 10 pass attempts, but I don't think you're going to see them throw a 30 either.
I think he gets more. I think this week's game script for him opens it up a little bit more.
More than 30?
No, but not the 10 that we.
That's what I'm saying.
Saw,
I'm saying probably somewhere between 18 and 20.
Maybe a little more, maybe 25.
I just think they're going to run the rock.
It really depends on how the game goes, but if they're behind, they're going to throw the ball. I don't really see that happening.
What are they favored right now?
But that I do not have up in front of me. I'm sorry. I will bring that up. Let me pull the lines. What game is that?
Minnesota, Oakland.
Just give me that. Thank you. I don't really want Sportsbook. No, I do want Sportsbook, don't I? Minnesota. Well, please. I'll get you that in a minute.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I want to move on and say next person I want to talk about is, I did bring up their opposing running back, or not opposing, but his counterpart who was holding out currently, and that's Austin Eckler.
Minnesota Raiders game?
Yes.
Yeah.
7, 8.
Are you talking about that's the Chargers, not the Raiders?
No. He was giving me the line.
9.
That I asked for. 9 now? It was 8.
Vikings are giving 9.
I still think they're going to run the ball all day. Austin Eckler for the Chargers.
All over my lines.
Again, I think his price is sweet. I think it's in a good spot. He's not overpriced. You can do a lot with your lineup with him.
You can flex him.
Being at that cost, 14.7 on Fantasy Draft. Another guy that...
Can I expand upon that a little bit more?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Eckler's actually, with his full PPR scoring, is the leading scorer so far through 2 weeks for running backs with an average of 31.85 points. A lot of that is what he's doing through the air with 6 receptions in each game, but that's an extra touchdown each game because of those receptions. And what we saw last week was not just the dump pass, but him lining up as a wide receiver and going out and catching a ball for 30 yards. So he truly is in the passing game for the Chargers. And Taglery had on Fantasy Pros, Mike Taglery, who we quote a lot, had a very interesting stat, and that is that Eckler has averaged 14.5 carries and 6 receptions per game. Gordon averaged 14.6 carries and 4.2 receptions a game. So basically, in terms of game script, the Chargers aren't making any changes with Eckler over Gordon. They're just it's cut and paste. We're going to run the same script.
And it's working. And I think, do you think this cuts in any way, shape, or form to their negotiations with Gordon? Do you think they just drop their ask for Gordon to say, we'll take a fifth just to move on from him?
No, I think
No.
Everybody realizes that the value of Gordon, I think both the team realizes and Gordon realizes, is his value goes up when the next, what if Ezekiel Elliott goes out for the season this week, because Ben Roethlisberger went out. I mean, it's just that we're going to see a big name running back go down, and all of a sudden there's going to be panic and where the team that's competing. And then I think,
But he's a pilot.
I think at this point Gordon's going to be traded, but I think the Chargers are holding out for a number one.
I still think it's going to be a buy low situation. He has no leverage. They have no leverage. They have to trade him, and it's a matter of, do we want to keep paying this guy whatever we're paying him now, or do we want to move on from the headache and focus on football?
They did try to use him as trade bait for Jalen Ramsey,
who the owner came out today and said we want to pay him. Oh, as the world turns. All right, moving on. Somebody who, Webby, I know you are not on him. He, according to all the metrics and all the numbers that I've run and people that I've spoken to in the industry, he is a must play this week almost, and that's Christian McCaffrey. Only thing that is holding me back from paying him is the 16.8 thousand cost on fantasy draft.
I don't have him in any of my lineups.
I think a lot of people are fading him because of recency bias, what he did last week, the fact he got shut down last week. Different week, different time, have the amnesia. The game script is set up perfect for him, especially you have a backup quarterback playing now. Cam is not playing.
Nope, out.
So that sets up, and there's another person that when we get the quarterbacks we can talk about, because you have a whole slew of quarterbacks you can talk about now. I think McCaffrey is in a good place, and depending on FanDuel or DK, depending on cost differential based on site, you might reasonably able to fit him in because of all the compression at wide receiver. If you really want him, you can do it. You're just paying down, and you're sacrificing somewhere. But there is areas where you can pay down. Frank, if Singletary's not playing, you can play Frank Gore in a flex spot that opens up cash.
There is a reason why I grabbed him in most of my fantasy leagues.
Dan?
And as we get into wide receivers, I think there are about at least 2, maybe 3 wide receivers out there that are min price, that are in really good spots this week. If you want to plug one of those in there, then you can go up and afford McCaffrey.
Frank Gore is 9.2K on fantasy draft. Probably a good cash game lock. I mean, he's not pretty. He's old. I think he's older than, Darwin himself, but
Carolina Panthers.
But in 9-2, I mean, really, is this unreasonable expectation based on the game script of that he's going up against an atrocious run defense, that it's 25 carries, 3.5 yards a carry, and a touchdown. So he may or may not get 100 yards, but he gets,
he falls
15 to 20 fantasy points. And at his price, you're looking at a 1.5x return. I think that's pretty much guaranteed with him.
Yeah, and he opens up a lot of extra room within the lineup. Another low-price guy that I'm going to throw out there, just because how I see the game script going, is Miles Sanders, Philadelphia. He's 7.7K. Philly is not going to be able to just throw the ball the entire time, that entire game, to Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz, and what other cast of characters they have to throw to.
True.
They're going to need to run the ball at some point in time, and I think Miles Sanders is going to get the lion's share. I don't think it's going to be Mike Davis.
I'll throw out one other name that's in that price range there, slightly more. Peyton Barber at 8,800.
I'm not.
That's just based on what he did last week, and
yeah.
I do know that if you're playing the risk that you're not, I want guys I know we're going to touch the ball 20 or 25 times. Barber looked like he did last week. It looks like he secured the role to do it again. He's in a good spot, but it doesn't mean that the game script's going to play out that way.
Right. But again, last week, we all heard the chatter that it was Ronald Jones going to get more work. Ronald Jones going to get more work. Well, Ronald Jones came out, was ineffective in his first 3-4 runs. Barber came in, did something. They went with the hot hand. So this week, Barber could come in, do nothing in the first 3 or 4 plays against the Giants. All of a sudden, Ronald Jones comes in and gets the lion's share of the next 25 carries. And now you're left with a whole lot of, holding the bag.
I'll tell you,
it's too much of a quagmire for me to go there when we know we have a Dalvin Cook out there, Austin Eckler. You want to go lion's share, David Johnson at 12.4K against Carolina. He's going to get the lion's share of carries.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Carson against the Saints is going to get the lion's share of the carries. Aaron Jones, I don't trust that because you got Jamal Williams. Same conversation. You had the head coach come out and go, yeah, I want to get it more to a 50-50 split. He hasn't done it yet, but that adds too much question for me to go play Aaron Jones.
I have him in one of my lineups. Absolutely.
And then you go to San Francisco. Great game script. Great matchup against Pitt. Matt Breida. Or is it Mostert? Like, who's going to get the lion's share there? Who's going to get value there? Who's going to be the guy to go to? There's so many questions that I think if you stick with your Marlon Max and has there been an update on Max injury?
Oh, I was interesting. I was going to bring him up next. So Marlon Mack is the one guy that I'm going to be Sunday morning looking to see where he is at health-wise. He did practice today, so he's trending towards playing, and I believe it's a calf injury. He's at 10-9. Now, what a lot of people don't know about Marlon Mack is he has more carries than anybody at 45, and he's got a great matchup this week against the Falcons. But what I'm looking at is if Mack doesn't play, Jordan Wilkins at 6'2" is going to be rock right into that role, and he's basically at minimum salary. I mean, he could go off for 20 to 25 points, and it opens up the door for everywhere else. And last week, Wilkins had 5 attempts for 82 yards and 1 reception for 4 yards. So I don't know. That's definitely somewhere I'm Sunday morning, I'm really curious on how that's going to play out.
Well, I tell you from what I know, Mac, he writes calf injury. He is listed as questionable because it's an injury, and we all know how the NFL changed that rule last year. I think he does play. I think he's limited. I mean, he was spotted carrying a walking boot all this week up until today's practice, which he did practice today. But I think you're dead on the money with Wilkins probably being the best candidate.
I have a fear that Nyheim Hines is going to snipe
Hines is going to snipe some, especially against the Falcons.
And as the pass catcher.
Yeah, especially against the Falcons.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for the running back from that game, I don't think Mack is the smart play. Again, like Dan said, I mean, if you got him and you're considering it, you better be at the computer at 12:30.
Well, here's another one that you can throw out there. Similar situation: Shady McCoy and Derwin Thompson. Shady McCoy's trending towards playing. Okay, what does that mean? Are we going to get Derwin Thompson, who costs virtually nothing, or are we going to get Shady?
Main salary 6.
Are we going to get a Shady McCoy who's a gimp? Because he's got a bum knee. Like, what are we getting here? Like, you need to pay attention to that come Sunday, and that can change lineup construction immensely, that you can actually fit in some high-priced wide receivers that you can't do right now. Think of a running core of Frank Gore, Jordan Wilkinson, and Derwin Thompson. And then think about Julio Jones and Keenan Allen and pick some other Devontae Adams that you could probably all afford all of them at that point. Especially if you pay down at tight end.
Shady will suit up and play. I don't think you're going to see the ridiculous amount of snaps he's been getting, and you probably won't see him in third down situations. He will play. He'll be limited. He's hurt. Definitely going to be limited. But I don't think you're going to see. I mean, what did he have last week? 80%? 80%? I think if you're looking at that game, it's like you said, it's either Darwin Thomas or Darryl Wilkins. I wouldn't. That's it. That's it. And I wouldn't even trust that. I mean, yeah, the pricing could be right. If you're going to look to buy down there, then it's Darwin Thomas. That's my opinion. Darwin Thomas. What's his price? It's got to be cheap. Yeah, he's min.
For the article this week, I have Darwin Thompson in with the caveat. So I have Rivers, who is at 10.6, and Thompson is at 6, and I'm at 99,900. But if I look and go, then Mac's not playing, and I know that Jordan Wilkins in for this huge load. Well, then I'm going to slot Wilkins in, and I'm going to pivot off of Rivers to Kyler Murray, who I also think has QB1 upside and is cheap. And then I'm right at 100,000, but I can't get Wilkins without going down from Rivers.
Yeah, Wilkins costs more.
Damian Williams is out in that game too, right?
Damian Williams has already been.
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, out.
He's out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Shady will play through the pain, but I wouldn't trust it.
All right, last one I want to talk about in the wide receiving core is the elephant in the room, playing probably
What has Shady done? He's got 15.
Probably playing the worst team in the history of the National Football League. Period. End of subject. And that's Zeke, Mr. Ezekiel Elliott, going up against Miami. I have some shares of Zeke where I could build him in that I kind of felt reasonable about it.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest fear of this is at the end of the first half or even 3 quarters, he ain't playing a whole game. And does he do enough damage in those 3 quarters to justify the $17,100 price tag?
20 carries. He plays the whole game. He gets 20 carries. I don't think maybe 18. They're not going to need that because Dak's going to be able to bomb the ball all day long.
Here's I'm out with Elias. I don't see Miami just doesn't have the players to stop him.
Nope.
Yeah, Dallas could get up, 28-3 or 28-0 or something. But if that's the case, I think Elliott's already up over 100 yards and he has 2 DDs. So,
but is that enough?
I think it is, and I think what you're missing is the possibility is Dallas goes, you know what? This is a great opportunity to get Elliott completely into game shape. Let's play this whole thing out. And Elliott goes off for 200 yards and 3 TDs.
Yep.
And if you don't have him, you don't cash.
Yep. Yeah, I believe that completely.
See, I will buy that. I know he's agnostic when it comes to playing him wherever this week. You can play him in cash, you can play him in GPPs. I got it. And when we go to build our lineup in a little bit, we will see if we can fit Zeke in based on your guys' theory. I'm all for it. We can fit him in. That's great. We do this as a consensus. I'm just not going to have as many shares. I think there's other players out there that at a cheaper price are going to give you the same value. I think we're all, and I'm trying to keep off the bias of it's Miami, they suck, and they're going to get run all over. At some point in time, any given Sunday, you never know what could happen. It could be like Alvin Kamara last week, where he was the chalk of chalk in every tournament.
Miami will put up points.
70% owned.
Josh Rosen?
Yes, Josh Rosen.
Yeah, because Fitzpatrick is serving hot dogs this week.
Well, remember, Rosen came in, ran a couple of plays, and went back to the bench because he sucked.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
Yeah, he'll score. Game script.
A couple other guys I want to bring up. I said Kamara. I'm not on Kamara this week. I need to see more. I need to see more at 14-9. I need to see what Teddy's going to do. I need to see how defenses are going to scheme that. Saquon Barkley, I think he's a great pivot off of Ezekiel Elliott, to be honest with you, against Tampa Bay.
And he's 20. How much cheaper?
He's
$2,300 cheaper. Yeah,
$1,400 cheaper.
Well, you're gonna
no. He's $400 or $4,000.
No, he's $2,300. Because I'm sorry, I'm looking at Kamara. You're right.
You're gonna get good work out of Saquon Barkley. I mean,
but do you buy into Daniel Jones?
I don't think that matters.
You have to buy into Daniel Jones for it to matter, though.
I don't think that matters. Look, he took 11 snaps in the first game against Dallas and ran for 120. He took 18 in the second game against Buffalo, whose defense is pretty damn good, and put up 107 with a touchdown. That's 100 yards a game, 100 plus. They'll get that from him again.
Right.
He's not going to be held.
So let me ask you this: either or, Saquon Barkley or Ezekiel Elliott?
Well, you can't fit them both, not unless you're going to take, I don't know, fucking some dredge quarterback and the bottom of the barrel
we'll get to there.
defense.
We'll get to there. All right, so let's not get into game theory, game script here. So you can't have both, obviously.
No, you can't have your cake.
Who do you think? Okay, talking fantasy draft. How much does who's going to catch more passes play into this?
I think Barkley catches
point per reception.
I think Barkley catches more passes because I think Dallas is becoming an offense of spreading it around. You've got Randall Cobb there. You've got Smith there. You've got Amari Cooper there. You've got Josh Witten, and you've got their other tight end that his name is escaping me.
Yeah, I mean they
can stay.
It's not an easy call.
And this is welcome to the modern NFL, where it's not Jason Witten. Blake Jarwin is who I was thinking. So they have.
Can we throw in one more running back name just to
Sure.
throw out there that's kind of in the middle to lower range, and I know that you are frowning on him. You want to see more. I like him because the matchup's good. I think he did reasonably well this last Monday night. And there's something to the fact that he's playing Sunday night and having the last couple of weeks I've had nothing going in that Sunday night game. So you just see your, rankings go down where I know it really doesn't matter. It all adds up and when you play him. But there is a mental thing of possibly playing Nick Chubb at 12-4 against the Rams, who are not very good at stopping the run.
I think the Rams are just going to stack the box because Baker Mayfield sucks. I said it. He is flat out. He looks terrible. Cleveland looks terrible. I mean, you should have driven all over the Jets, backed up and driven all over them again. And I don't even think their performance was that commanding for a depleted, hurt team. What do you think he's going to get? 16 points at 12.4K?
Who?
Nick Chubb.
Chubb, huh? You're right. See, that's just it. You can't trust Baker's Mayfield, so give the ball to Chubb and let him rub.
Let him rub?
Let him run. I mean, Monday night, you're right, 98 yards, touchdown.
Here's a fair point to make. You want to have a player who you least is going to, you see it in your mind, a possibility of a 2x return. I mean, we went over 200 points that first week, and you really want to at least envision. It's almost impossible for everything to break your way, but you at least want to have the vision that it's possible. And Nick Chubb hasn't gone over 20 points since week 12 of last year, so that's a whole lot of games in this 15 to 20 range. So yeah, maybe he's not that much of a value at 12-4.
I mean, I'd rather at that point pay up and go get the counterpart to last week's game because I know he's going to get all the 1 to 2 yard catch and runs, and that's Lev Bell. And I don't even like that game script against the Patriots.
No,
I'm not going anywhere near.
The thing is
saying, I mean,
yeah, I love the fact that Bill could catch 10 passes, but I also know that the Patriots just will shut down the best player, and there's no doubt about it that the Jets' best player is Lev Bell.
Well, I tell you this much. If you're looking to buy up on running backs, wide receivers, and you want to buy down on a running back, Rex Burkhead.
Burkhead's going to snipe all the touchdowns.
Yep.
That's what he does. He's on my list as a value play, and he's
definitely a value. Cheap. Yeah, it's about stupid cheap.
Salary relief.
It's interesting that you say that.
7. Right.
I looked at the running backs in New England to see if I could find value in this game, and I looked at because they played the Jets late last year and they kicked their butts. So I went, oh, Burkhead must have had a great day. Nope.
No.
Tony Michelle must have had a fantastic day.
No.
Nope. And I went through this list. Nobody had a great. I said, why did? Oh, it was the Patriots defense that had a fantastic day, and that's why they ran it up against the Jets.
And I'm not. I'm on that same idea of life that I was the past 3 seasons. I want no part of the Patriot backfield. You just don't know.
Yeah, Sonny Michel's horrible. He's 14 fantasy points total, 2 games.
And he was your best boyfriend last week and the week before.
I think he's got 100 yards. No, 97. 97
against Miami.
97. No, 83 against Miami.
Oh, against
First
Miami.
game against Pitt, right? Only 14 on 15 attempts.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage.
Not a fan.
No.
James White, what'd he do?
Hold on, I don't.
Because he's the pass catching guy.
I will look right now. It wasn't a horrible game. He got 16.9 points. He had 4 attempts for 30 yards. 4 receptions for 39 yards, and it's deep.
4 for 26, 3 for 10. No, James White. Yeah, 4 for 30.
I'm looking last week 17 against the Jets.
Oh, last year. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm looking at this year's total so far. Now he has given you fantasy point value.
He always does.
Okay, I mean, but it's
not. He needs Sony Michel to go down to get value.
And then that's where Burkhead comes up in value and gets the lion's share.
Because
yeah,
Burkhead is a cross between Sony Michel and James White.
Yeah, I only put it out there.
He is like if they had a baby.
Yeah.
It's a little Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, you could say
little
that.
cute Burkhead.
Yeah, you could say that.
All right, I want to move along because we've spent entirely too long on running backs. So wide receivers.
Wideouts.
This is very interesting this week because everywhere pricing is outrageous. Not as outrageous as running backs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want the running backs, you ain't getting the wide receivers. So I'm going to give you a couple guys that I think are must plays.
Okay.
And I'm going to...
Or if you have to pick one of them, it's from this group.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 3 guys. You tell me you get to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans.
Keenan Allen. Right there in my lineup. Keenan.
Dan?
I'm going to go with Allen because of the sheer volume. I think there's a possibility. He had 15 targets last week. I think there's another 15 targets. He has, a cast off covering him. Every once in a while, Allen has a game where he gets a couple touchdowns at home, and it still kills me. Home is Los Angeles for them. Yeah, I think Allen can go bonkers, but Jones is right there with me.
Houston has given up the 13th most fantasy points to wide receivers.
Well, you got Mike Evans, who may or may not be shaded by Janoris Jenkins. That's the only thing that could stop him from having a great day. That's the only D-back that the Giants have. It's Janoris Jenkins. You got Julio Jones, who's most likely going to be shaded by Rock Ya-Sin, rookie. Now, Indy's secondary is much better than it was last year because they have health. Is Pierre Desser playing or is he out? Do we know? Because if he's out, that changes a lot of things. That brings Calvin Ridley into conversations and the whole nine.
Name?
Pierre Desser. And then you have Keenan Allen, who's going to be shaded by Bradley Roby.
Pierre Desser here.
He's a defensive back.
Not getting any notes on that at all. I'll have to go over here. Okay, keep going. What I got over here?
Pierredesir.
Defense. You barely get any information on defense. You know that.
I know.
Nothing. Name listed.
I personally am going Keenan Allen. Again, for the same reasons. I can see the reason to play Julio. I can see the reason to also play Mike Evans at that price point. You can't fit 2 out of the 3, though. You're not doing it.
Yeah.
Not doing it and going and getting yourself 2 or 3 of the high-priced running backs.
That's where you got to put Keenan Allen in a period and work your line around. You got Dalvin Cook on your running back. You got a Habits must play.
All right, next tier that I want to give you. I'm going to give you 4 this time.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald. Old man Fitzgerald.
I like him. I got him in 2 lineups.
A fellow on his team, Christian Kirk.
I have him in one of my lineups.
Mr. New Brown Buffalo, John Brown.
Hollywood.
No.
Oh, that's the other Brown.
John Brown. And I'll give you the other one.
Hollywood
Brown.
High price. Well, no.
You can have one. You may have uno mas.
Only because of breaking news. Can I throw in one other than that grouping? Same price, basically. Josh Gordon with no Antonio Brown.
Who's been very likable.
Who's been very humble, has
Josh
he
Brown.
not?
Josh, I've been, I like Brown, and I certainly.
Which Brown?
Gordon. I think
You like Gordon?
I like-
Brown or Gordon? You like?
well, you can get both of them at that price. So, but the other person that you're missing on this whole boat is Cole Beasley.
No interest in Cole Beasley.
How could you not after last week? And the game script looks like it's perfect for him again.
Because now you're playing recency bias. What do you do week 1? Don't give me your recency bias. Give me.
Hold on.
Don't chase points, man.
Get you that. 9 targets, 5 receptions, 40 yards. I'm not chasing points.
9
He got
targets.
no touchdown so far.
9 targets.
Yeah.
5 receptions, 40 yards, 9 points.
9 points.
If there were a recency bias in that range, then you throw in DeMarcus Robinson.
Is he? Yeah, I could. I think I got
See,
Robinson in another lineup.
no.
Don't I?
If I'm going to go anywhere in
Yeah,
that group,
Robinson in a
I'll
lineup,
tell you
yeah.
right now, in that group, I would probably go with Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet if you can fit him in with everyone else that we've already.
Would
inked in.
probably, but I have more shares of Larry Fitz.
Okay.
Dan?
Yeah, but Larry Fitz is almost $1,000 cheaper, so that totally makes sense.
He's $9.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in the 10 to
That's-
11,000 range. I mean, I can't get super crazy here.
Well, right now I'm really concerned about the weather in this Kansas City Baltimore game, and there's part of me just wants to fade basically all these receivers because I know everybody else is going to be on them. So I'm going to go with Gordon only because I think the Patriots are still favored by 22 points and somebody has to score them.
Get Randall Cobb. You can throw in that conversation also.
Cobb's cheaper.
Game script for him looks like it's going to be.
Cobb's
dynamite.
cheaper.
Yeah.
11th, Cooper Kupp. 11-9. Jarvis Landry, 11-8.
Kupp had his one big week.
Edelman with no. How about Edelman at 11? What is that on? 11-6 with no AB?
I mean, we're all talking like AB was a big deal.
AB took how many targets away from everyone else last week?
4. What did he have?
I know Edelman only scored like 9 points. He took a touchdown away from Josh Gordon or Julian Edelman. That's points. From a fantasy perspective, he took points away from my people.
4 receptions.
Okay.
Targeted 8 times.
You mentioned Cobb at 9-9.
Right.
And just look at just how bad this is for Miami. They've allowed 100% catch rate and 4 TDs to slot receivers, and they have averaged 5 fantasy draft points per target.
Yep.
Did he make the list?
Oh.
He's in my you didn't have him. It was kind of in conversation, was thrown in there, and he's at 9-9, so he's a little bit lower than the rest of them.
No. Did he make Woolyard's list?
Yes, he did.
He did make it. Okay.
Yeah, and he just didn't fit into my lineup. But I
have built lineups around him just because of soft pricing.
Yeah, I do have him plugged in a couple places.
Well, this brings up the next conversation because the next guys that I want to talk about. Okay, here you go. Randall Cobb, Emmanuel Sanders, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel, DK Metcalf. You can have 2.
I have Emmanuel Sanders. I just think he's become the favorite target in Denver. It's just the pure volume that I think he's going to get. So
you think it would have been Cortland Sutton too because he's a bigger body. But what Emmanuel Sanders has done coming back from Achilles surgery in 10 months is amazing. Until he's out of the league for PEDs or washing his blood or something. Because this is how things go. Oh, you're doing good. Go get drug tested. So out of this group, I have a smattering of all of these guys. I have some DK Metcalf because I think he's going to eat. You gave me Lockett yesterday. I'm coming back at you with DK Metcalf is going to eat.
I like Lockett too.
Will Fuller, Will Fuller is just due to have one of those games where it's like 2 long bombs for touchdowns, and
the Chargers are missing 3/4 of their starting secondary.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay. Emmanuel Sanders, we talked about. Randall Cobb, we talked about. Curtis Samuel, Carolina. This game. I'm kind of like. I know I've been all over Olsen all week, and we'll talk about him when we get to tight ends, but there isn't much in this game that I really like have a lot of love for. Because at the same time, you could say DJ Moore. Like, it's another one of those like running back conversations. Like, you don't know who, but it's going to be somebody. Which one you going to pick?
True.
Same conversation with the Eagles. So a must play this week in the cheap category, in salary relief and everything else. You have Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar is like probably almost a must play as a number 1 wide receiver in Philly going against Detroit. The only way that won't work out for him is if he gets Darius Slay.
He's cheap too.
Yeah.
7,800.
He's dirt cheap. He is where you get a lot of the ability to do other things in the lineup just by slotting him in. Never mind his counterparts. JJ Arcega-Whiteside is the other guy I like at 6.2K. I like him a lot. Matt Collins, if you really want to be contrarian and throw a dart and go, hey, here's somebody that could score a touchdown because you just don't know. And, he's 6.3K if you really need to spend that extra $100. And isn't Alshon Jeffrey a question mark?
Big question mark.
He may or may not play?
Big question mark.
Now, if he plays, that changes the entire dynamic of this entire conversation. I think that gives Nelson Aguilar more value at that point. It's going to change the entire way unless Alshon Jeffrey is going to play as a decoy, or they're going to move things around in order to take care of Zach Ertz.
Okay, I could see that.
If they're going to try and take Ertz out of the game.
Yeah, I could see that.
Dan, how do you feel?
I didn't spend a lot of time on Eagles. I mean, Aguilar was somebody I certainly looked at. I just think there's a lot of other. I think my response to everything you said is there's too many question marks.
Exactly, but there's great value there. Like playing Carson Wentz where he's priced is a great value. I mean, site dependent. If you're like fantasy draft is very weird because your floor for quarterbacks is $10,000, and you have like Kyler Murray and other Kyler Murray and Phillip Rivers are $600 more than men's salary.
Yeah, Murray's actually 10.5. Rivers is 10.6. So there's no reason to go. It's
not like on DK or FanDuel where some of these guys
those guys are like
$4,000 you can get Daniel Jones for someplace. You're not getting that here. Men's salary is $10,000 for a QB.
And I did send a note to our contact at Fantasy Draft and suggested that they make some adjustments here because there's just no incentive to take a risk on any of these guys this week.
Exactly. All right, let's move quickly over to quarterback. I think this is actually a very quick conversation. I personally am not going anywhere near any of these first-time quarterbacks. Chalk play of the week is going to be Lamar Jackson.
Too much money.
He's going to be chalk. People are going to fit him in.
Yeah, you will. I mean, he's
And we had him at 5% week 1. That was fantastic.
number one quarterback so far this year too.
I'm going 3 places, and I'm spreading it out reasonably depending on who I'm trying to fit into a lineup. I'm going Josh Allen, Buffalo.
Got him.
I'm going Dak.
Got him.
And I'm going Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray is where I'm investing most of my money. I see this as a very high-paced, fast offense. They play a lot of plays, and as much as everyone thought that this kid's going to run, and maybe he will, he's a pocket passer. He was a pocket passer in college. Go watch the game script.
Yep.
So all these people expecting him to do this, pistol read option offense, maybe it'll come, but he's a pure pocket passer. Let him play the game. And the weapons he has, Larry Fitz, Christian Kirk, they're starting to use David Johnson the way David Johnson should be used. They're finally figuring that out. I mean, 3 targets there. I can see you creating a stack of Murray, Fitz, or Kirk and David Johnson, and you fill in the rest however you want to fill it in with any of these players that we just talked about.
I'm going to throw another name into that stack possibility. So if you're at, especially in fantasy draft, so you're on Kyler Murray for 10.5, 500 above minimum. Damiere Byrd is minimum at 6,000, and he has an average of 9.32 points per game. So it's not like you may be taking a 0 on your minimum player. He's actually performing at a good value. He has a really, really good matchup this week. So, if you stack those 2 together, you can pretty much do most of everything else you want to do.
That's true.
I was going to get to that when we got to our lineup construction. Thanks, bro. Stole my thunder.
Okay, sorry.
I was saving Bird for the sneaky sneak. All right. Anybody have any other quarterbacks you want to bring in, or do you want to sit here and dwell on this or move along?
No, I think you mentioned.
Well, Phillip Rivers for $100 more. He's just been there, done that before, and he scored 27 points in week 1. I think this Houston offense is going to be able to put up the points against the Chargers, whose secondary is depleted. I have a sinking suspicion this could be the back and forth shootout game of the week that nobody's even focused on.
Dak Prescott in there too. I've got him in a lineup or 2.
In my projections here, I got Rivers for 17, maybe 18.
It's hard not to look at Dak too against Miami. It's really
brought
hard.
up Dak.
Why that low? I mean, look, even last week, okay, it wasn't a great week, but he still passed for 293 yards.
Well,
passed for 333 yards. I mean, I see him at over 300 yards and at least 1 TD, probably 2 TDs.
Yeah, but look at that as a median. Don't look at it as like his floor or ceiling. I'd say his floor is 8 and his ceiling is maybe 28, and you got 18 in the middle. I wouldn't go. I would look at it and go, oh, he's only going to get 17 points. I'd say that's like an average median of what he might pull. I just think,
and 17 points at 10-6 is a great return.
Yeah, 1 point. What was that? 1.5,
1.6, basically.
7.
Dak Prescott is cheaper than Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen 12-4.
$100.
Josh Allen.
And Prescott has them is tied for touchdown passes with both Mahomes and am I blanking? The multiple quarterback we were just talking about. Lamar Jackson.
I'll give you 2 names.
And Miami's given up the most touchdown passes. So the only thing that concerns me is kind of going back to the same conversation we got with Eckler is that I could see the game script here is that Elliott gets all of the fantasy points, and somebody like Dak is just like, there's not a need for him to throw it.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Game. It's not going to be a run-heavy game like that. It's
I think
Dallas.
it's going to be balanced. I think it's going to be balanced.
Yeah, it's going to be a well-balanced game.
They're going to want everyone to eat because it's Miami.
Yeah,
they want everyone to get the warm and fuzzies when they're walking back to the locker room.
They're not going to change their game script like that to be run-heavy until November. Easily. I mean, that's what they did last year.
All right, guys. I'm running out. Can we get into building the lineup? Because I've got to get to some family stuff here.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Sure. We can cover tight ends when we're doing the lineup. All righty. Here we go. All right. I already have a lineup here, as we always see me sometimes do.
So do I. I just built one.
So
You gotta
enjoy it. Take a picture of it because it's going away.
Not mine. I'm entering. So you got to put your lock players in that you already talked about.
I will put my lock players in.
Okay.
You know, I'm on Kyler Murray. How do we all feel about that?
You can have him.
I can have Kyler Murray.
You can have Kyler Murray.
Thanks, bud.
I'm going Dak Prescott.
Kyler Murray.
There's more points there.
All right, running backs. Where do we want to go here?
You locked in Dalvin Cook. And you locked in Zeke, no?
I didn't lock in Zeke. I'm the one who said I wasn't on Zeke.
Oh, okay. Well, you locked in Dalvin Cook.
I'll take Dalvin Cook. You guys decide who you want.
You know, let's spread the love around. Let's go with the McCaffrey.
Want to go with McCaffrey? He may end up moving just because of cost. All right, Keenan Allen.
You locked him in.
Sure.
We all locked him in.
Yep, and he's right there. Look at my screen.
Yep.
See mine right there. It's right there.
No, I can't.
Oh, why not? Why is that screen not on? You got the remote. Go ahead.
We gotta go cheap here.
So what about this stack I was just talking about with Murray?
Bird, right?
Yep.
BYARD. The Mayor Bird.
Yep.
Yes.
6K. All right, tight end.
Bird, huh?
All right, tight end. Here's an interesting conversation. I'm really in Kittle and Ertz this week. They just happen to work in a lot of lineup builds that I've constructed. I can see arguments for Vance McDonald. I can see arguments for Austin Hooper. Greg Olsen today was changed from healthy to questionable. Don't know what to make of that, even though he is in the best position against Arizona. If you want to get a part of the other side of the ball, outside of Christian McCaffrey, Olsen would be a good play. Outside of that,
just so you know, Olsen participated fully in practice today.
Does that? What do you think?
I mean, heck, Allen is also questionable. I think there's a lot of like just maintenance stuff for some of these older players. Arizona's given up 60 fantasy points to tight ends, and we're in week 3.
Yeah, Allen practiced full today.
And Olsen's been targeted 9 times each game, so the targets are there. And you have a backup quarterback, and who's the backup quarterback going to hit? The tight end, the running back, the safe plays.
Yep.
I just cheap. The floor is there, and I think the ceiling is immensely high.
All right, defense. I think there's only 2 defenses really to play this week. That's either the Patriots or Dallas. If you really want to go down, the only place where I can really see you going down is maybe Buffalo,
Arizona.
Or you think Arizona's D?
I have punted defense this week and taking Arizona at 55.
Well, we have McCaffrey though.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Well,
we have Olsen.
So they sacked the quarterback a few times, or tackles, or.
Here's the thing: the Patriots have allowed 3 points this season in 2 games.
And they're playing
the last time they played the Jets.
And they're playing.
They scored 23.
But they play nobody for 8 weeks. I get it. It's a good play. It's a smart play. If you can squeeze them in there.
7,100. If we need to go
7,100, the highest price defense.
Well, them and
let's move them in now. If we need to move them out, we will.
All right, that leaves us 12,350.
Flex spots.
12,350 to fit in 2 flex positions.
My line's better.
How about Eckler?
Yeah, my line's better.
Eckler, 14.7. That leaves us 10 grand for our other flex.
You can leave $100 on the table and put in John Ross III. who should be on everybody's fantasy radar.
How about Randall Cobb at 9,900?
I would take John Ross over him. Look at the numbers.
I don't know. You got the numbers.
The numbers are
That's
right
your
in front of
job.
you. Your projections and
That's
and
not projections.
points are
That's
right there.
fantasy points per game.
Per game, 31.
31.
For Ross. What do you got for Cobb?
I don't know.
12?
I got information that says he's a really good play this week.
I know. We said that. I said it too. I have him in other lineups, but I think over here, I think Ross is the sure bet. He's going to be the only one to do anything against Buffalo in that game.
Hey, and I don't have any exposure to him. I don't mind that at all.
Who, Ross?
Yeah. Well, I'm just okay. I'm just playing around here because we can. What if we take Eckler out?
I don't even have Eckler.
What if we take McCaffrey out and save some of that money and go down to
Tyler Lockett? Oh, Eckler. You're pulling Eckler out. Running back.
No,
right?
I'm thinking pulling McCaffrey out.
Running back? Yeah. How about Zeke Elliott?
And maybe go down to...
You can't squeeze that in.
Maybe we go down to David Johnson and get that stack.
David. No, not David.
Okay.
David Johnson.
Take McCaffrey out, and we go the other side of the ball.
Okay, now, this is where I was going with this. And I think it's
Now
gonna
we have
work.
14-4 for our flex.
David Johnson.
Okay.
Buried the
Julio
ball.
Jones is 14,000. So we got both Allen and Jones.
Yeah, we do. With Eckler.
And then we can put Eckler back in. We already have Eckler. No.
Never took Eckler out. That leaves 400 on the table. So the lineup is Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, Keenan Allen, Demare Byrd, Greg Olsen, Austin Eckler, Julio Jones, Patriots defense.
It's not bad. I got a few in there. Okay.
I'm feeling that.
Like I said, I went a little.
Yeah, I feel good about that too.
Going a little different, but I'm down for that.
All right, confirm entry. All right, let's do our FanDuel.
For fantasy drafts this week, I'm going Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Greg Olsen, Nelson Aguilar, John Ross III, and punting my defense and taking the best available I can at Arizona.
All right.
All right,
Where are we going?
FanDuel.
We have two lineups over there.
QB. Do we still feel real?
Phillip Rivers or Dak Prescott?
Dan, opinion? Anyone else you want to throw in there?
I actually log into FanDuel here. So what are the prices on those two?
Dak is
Prescott,
8,400.
84. Phillip Rivers 75.
Kyler Murray 72.
Murray is 72.
How much is Randall Cobb? Like 52?
Something like that. I don't have him in my lineup here, damn it.
$53.
It's amazing that I can just guess that.
It's definitely a roundabout price for this week for him anyway. And it's a good play. I mean, we talked about it earlier. It's definitely a good play.
Yeah, I don't mind that Prescott. I just think that Prescott Cobb stack is
It's tough.
I think it's sneaky.
It's ballsy, without a doubt.
All right. Dak. Cobb. You want to throw Zeke in there for good measure?
Sure.
8,800 for Zeke, by the way.
Oh, there is Cobb. I do have him in a lineup. 5,300.
Dalvin Cook at 8,300.
Austin Eckler at 76. Drop him right in the flex spot.
Oh, then we're really paying down here. Oh, okay. Dalvin Cook, we'll drop him in there. Eckler, we'll drop him in there. That leaves us 5,400 per player. Let's go to defense and take care of that.
Niners at 3,700.
Over Pitt.
Yep. San Fran's got a tremendous defense.
So you guys have Elliott and Eckler. Who is the third?
Elliott, Eckler, and Cook.
Okay.
How about Arizona at 3,200? You were touting them over there on Fantasy Draft. Why not go punt it all the way down?
Because I thought we were building kind of like different lineups over here.
Well, we already are building a different lineup over here.
You certainly can do that. I mean, look, they're not going to put up a lot. You're only going to get you're going to get less than 10 out of them.
What I have a problem with is punting. Usually, I'm all for it. I just think the possibility of the Patriots scoring another 20-plus fantasy points is very, very real, and that is the equivalent of having a stud running back.
You're paying up over your min left for defense.
No, I got 55.
You got
33.
55. Okay.
Go tight end here.
Yeah, okay. Greg Olsen, 6,100. Austin Hooper, 5,800. Where you going? With Jared Cook to get you 5 points, because that's all he's going to get.
I'm going to come back to that.
Because you still got 2 wide receivers. And what's left on the table here?
Okay. If we're going to go, we have Prescott, right?
Yes.
Then why don't we go as a cheap wide receiver? Why don't we go Devin Smith
instead of Randall?
We have the double stack. It's like a full Dallas stack against Miami.
Oh, and watch Amari Cooper scores all the points.
And I don't have any exposure to Amari Cooper except for fantasy this week.
Cole Beasley, 5,100. Just let me go. Look. I'm going down here.
Oh, why isn't that up on the screen, bro?
I'm going down here. Kiki Kute, Danny Amendola, Devontae Parker, Stonehands Moncrief, Nelson Aguilar, 4,800. That works. Crabtree, Dante Pettis, JJ Arcega Whiteside, 4,600.
There you go. There's the lineups I have in front of you if you want to look up and see what my positions are.
Oh, thank you. You got Beasley in everywhere.
In these two lineups.
Cooper, Olsen, New England, San Fran. I'm looking for one guy.
Kirk and Robinson, too. I mean, we talked about him.
Pittsburgh. Can I have Pittsburgh?
I mean, they're buy downs, but they're good calls. I mean, Robinson, Baltimore. I mean, Kansas City, Baltimore game, 6,700. That's
James Washington.
Oh boy,
I like him. Not at 5,200 though. I'm gonna go do what I said I was gonna do, and I'm gonna go back to all Philly. And
so we're still at 2. We didn't put in Smith yet. So we're 2 wide receivers, or we did put in Smith in?
No, 2 wide receivers. You just put Aguilar in for 48.
Aguilar in for 48.
Which is a smart move at 48.
Well, then let's get our tight end and we know how much we have to spend.
Uh-huh.
And tight end, we can pretty much get anybody we want.
Does that put you in Zach Ertz territory?
We can get Ertz if we want Ertz.
I mean, Travis
We're
Kelce.
really paying down.
Kittle might be the best choice. I mean, I like Evan Ingram too, but
Vance McDonald, take a flyer there. Waller, Austin Hooper.
I like the Ingram's volume.
So do I. I said that last week.
Oh, don't forget Sterling Shepard's back.
The difference was last week they were playing Buffalo, and that is the best defense against tight ends.
Yes.
Greg Olsen questionable with a back. Needs a backiotomy.
I put Ingram. We have 5,400 left.
5,400 puts us in the territory of Marquise Goodwin, Marvin Jones,
James Washington.
Don't say MVS.
James
Garbage.
Washington. All right. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Randall Cobb, Nelson Aguilar, James Washington, Evan Ingram, Austin Eckler, New England Patriots defense. Enter.
What game did you drop?
I like it, guys.
$1 million maker.
I'm gonna have to sign off and see you guys next week.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
Dan McClellan.
Dan McClellan, Ironic Media, DFS lead writer, good friend of ours, our DFS buddy. Webby, what do you got for bets this week before we get out of here?
Oh, okay. Let me bring that up. Sportsbook. Hold on. I got to sign back in now because, Of course, then, it can't.
Here's my other lines if you care to see.
I can't read that on that because you're sharing the screen.
Kyler Murray, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Emmanuel Sanders, Jared Cook, Marlon Mack, Steelers.
You just shit all over Moore for the trade I had the other day, and now you got him in there.
Matt Stafford, Dalvin Cook, Frank Gore, Chris Godwin, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kenny Galladay, Zach Ertz, Larry Fitzgerald, 49ers defense.
Okay.
Carson Wentz, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Nelson Aguilar, James Washington, John Brown, Zach Ertz, Christian McCaffrey, Seattle Seahawks defense.
You can buy that.
Kyler Murray, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, John Brown, Nelson Aguilar, Keenan Allen, Evan Ingram, Austin Eckler, Cardinals defense. Very similar to what we just built on.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, so you got the Cardinals all over the place too. So, and you're yelling. You guys are yelling
punting.
at me. You guys are yelling at me. Yeah,
Come on, bro. Of course.
You could have punted and went other places too.
Could have.
But you're not going to get any more.
But he's right. If you get New England and they run all over the Jets and this rookie quarterback throws 3 interceptions, 2 of them are pick sixes, you just got wide receiver 1 value out of your $5,000 defense.
True. Bets this week.
All right, go.
These are the games I like. We discussed this. I believe we parlayed this together. Taking the Philadelphia Eagles over the Detroit Lions. Taking the Kansas City Chiefs over the Baltimore Ravens. The Buffalo Bills over the Cincinnati Bengals. The Atlanta Falcons over the Indianapolis Colts. The Rams over the Browns. And the San Francisco 49ers over the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is a money line parlay bet. Which last week we went 5 for 7 on our parlay, if I'm not mistaken.
We did. It busted by who? Who busted that?
Oh,
the Chargers.
Yeah, because they shit the bed. They looked horrible. What else is new with that team? Right, and the Panthers game. I mean, the Panthers should have, but came up limp in that game, and that's where the foot injury happened.
No, apparently it happened in preseason.
Well, he aggravated it in that game. You could see there was a couple of plays where he was limping around. But those are the games we like this week. There are other things you can do. You can, I don't think, was it the Miami game? I think that they'll help not cover the spread in that game.
They'll help not cover the spread in that game?
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to, what's the spread?
23. I think they'll.
Oh, and what you're saying? All you want is 12 points out of them.
Yeah. 12 points is all I need. All I would expect them to score. You're not going to see another shutout, blowout. That's not going to happen. It's not there in this game. If you wanted to throw a minimum bet in on that and take the points with Miami, it could be a very, very good bet. I think that's all I have in my bets out this week.
I have, if I can find my phone, I have a parlay out there that I can share if I can log in here. And that is going to be, come on, my bets.
Jets Patriots down plus minus 21 now.
Do you think the Jets cover that?
Again?
Do you think with this fuck kid, do you think lightning strikes or something?
I think it's another one of those where you just take a minimum bet, $5, $10, $20, whatever you feel is in your wheelhouse to bet. I mean, we do a lot of cover bets where we'll bet $20, $50 on a game and then just throw a 5 spot on the opposite way just to cover it. I know that's sometimes betting against yourself, but in this game, throwing $5 on the Jets at a plus 1,400 on the money line. I mean, what does $5 get you? $75.
Yeah. No, $20 gets you.
Yeah.
$300.
Right. 20 gets you 300. Do you want to waste $20?
Dude, do you think we're making money on playing 18 parlays?
No, you see what I'm betting. You know, everything is a 20 or a 50.
Yeah, but you're betting safe. You're not betting an 18 parlay like we do every week just because we can bet an 18 parlay.
Right, yeah.
Because we want to see if we're assholes, we can actually hit an 18 parlay, which we know the odds are stacked against us. Here's my safe parlay of the week.
Okay.
A 4-pick parlay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Eagles money line.
Uh-huh.
Cowboys money line.
Uh-huh.
Patriots money line.
Right.
And all Atlanta's got to do is win because Atlanta +1.
Right, it's 1, yeah. So that pays out nothing then.
No, 20 will get me 60.
No, it's 3 times earnings. Okay, it's still nothing. Yeah, I got you. But I mean, I will and I'm doing it right now. I'm laying the $5 on the Jets. 5 gets you 75. If they don't cover the spread, hey.
You lost $5.
Right, I lost $5.
Right.
But if they, it's the same thing with that freaking Miami game. Point spread's 22.5 now. It's the same thing. It's plus 1,500. You lay $5 and now you get 85.
You gonna put $5 on that?
Place and bet. Put $5 on it right there. There you go.
So you just wasted $10.
I just wasted $10 on 2 games. Yeah. But if it happens,
it happens.
I don't have them in my. I don't have those games in my parlay.
No,
because they're too risky of a game.
Well, I have both of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, Dallas is going to win the game. If you're playing the money lines, Dallas is going to win the game. Patriots are going to win the game. But if you want to play against the odds, you go the other way, which I don't think I just did I? I took the money lines on those. Woohoo. I'll have to do that again. Miami. Minus 110. Oh, yeah. $5 gets you a whopping $9.50 on the Miami game. Taking the points. And what does the Pats get you? Take the Jets.
So you just bet on them to win.
Yeah.
At plus 1,500.
And I can take those bets back.
Lose a quarter.
Big deal.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
This has been DFS Fantasy Foreplay. Hey, check us out. We got a new Podbean page we're putting up. That'll probably be up by the time this episode is posted. All of our episodes are going to be there. Way for you to reach out and interact with us. All of our socials, so on and so forth. DFS Foreplay on Twitter. DFS Foreplay on Facebook. We don't have an Instagram yet. We might create one. We might not. Who knows? YouTube, DFS Foreplay. Yeah, check us out everywhere. Reach out, interact. Tell us we suck. Tell us we're great. We don't care. Either way, this has been DFS Fantasy Foreplay Week 3. Good luck, everyone.